Ever wondered if that sourdough starter lurking in your fridge still has a spark of life? Can you bake from it without feeding, reviving it? And what kind of results would you get? If that's something you'd want to know so you can kind of simplify your sourdough baking schedule, then stick around and let's experiment together. Yeah, we're all excited. Let's go back to the day before to mix our dough and see what results we get with the starter straight from the fridge that has been dormant for about a month. This way we can cut one step off if it is successful and make baking sourdough even easier than what we thought it would be. This is my starter that has been living in there. Ooh, it's looking a little funky. Let's just zoom into this. So this is the status of this starter. Liquid on the top, kind of running like that. This is how it looks like. It doesn't smell very funky. Let me see. It doesn't smell too bad. I'm going to mix this in. And then we are going to use it to bake a loaf of bread. This jar is a little deeper, if you have seen my sourdough journey videos, you see that I don't use any special tools. I like to make it as simple as possible, so I just use a knife to just mix my deeper jar, and then for the other jar I just use a fork. So I'm mixing it. It is a little runny, so if I would feed my starter, I wouldn't aim for it to be this runny, but because this has been living in the fridge for a month, I don't mind. This is fine. It doesn't smell that acidy, so the fridge slows the activity of the yeast bacteria, so I think it's totally fine. If yours has been living for longer, it might have more of a hooch on top. As you saw, mine had, like, it wasn't as brown, but it was very liquidy. So this is the status of it. Let's just get a bowl and mix. Now, one thing that I do is I always use distilled water when I'm making my sourdough loaves. But also, I haven't seen this in many places, but I did this all winter long here in Canada because my house is really cold. We're end of April, the temperatures are better. But I always like boil a little bit of water in the kettle and mix it with the distilled water just to kind of like have the water a little bit warmer, and especially because this, at least my reasoning, I don't know if you're a sourdough fanatic and you know everything, you might be rolling your eyes, but maybe because the starter is straight out of the fridge, it hasn't come to room temperature or anything, I'm just gonna warm the water a little bit just to kind of increase the temperature of the dough when I mix it. So I'm just gonna get this kettle started. Gonna get a bowl. And my super old-fashioned scale. Set to 0. And of course, we're going to tie my hair. Yeah? You're gonna go around a little bit, or you're gonna come up? We're going to do a 70% hydration. That's been the sweet spot for me. If you're new to the sourdough journey, hydration, or the percentage of hydration, simply means the percentage of water in grams to the amount of flour that you're putting in. So bread is simply water, starter, or yeast, salt, and flour. But I've been really liking putting a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of sugar in it, just to kind of break down the taste and make the loaf fluffier. So for the 70% hydration, I'm doing 350 grams of water and 500 of flour, and then I'll do 80 grams of starter. I've noticed that when I do less starter, the crust is a little softer. And because I have small children, I want the crust to be a little softer. So, sorry. So let me go here. I'm doing 200 of cold distilled water. And I just want the temperature as much as I can kind of handle my finger here. Like if I can stand the water temperature, then it's fine. Okay, so that's fine. So I basically did, yeah, this is warm enough. So I basically did about 200 of cold water and about 150 of warm water from the kettle. And then we're going to add the starter. Yeah. Usually when I put the starter at peak, it floats to the top. Obviously, this is not going to float to the top. Oh, sweetie. So let's do here 80 grams. I'm going to grab the baby. Come. Yeah, you want to be part of it too? You want to be part of it too? Yeah. We're just going to mix this nicely. I really hope I'm not going to waste all the flour. So I'm just going to take this off while I put the rest of the stuff, because the only other thing that I need to measure is the flour. Going to put some salt. I'm just going to do a teaspoon of salt. And I always mix everything in at the same time. I know some people wait an hour to mix in the salt. I never do that, and my bread turns out amazing. And let's do some brown sugar. And again, brown sugar, honey, whatever, it's totally optional. Just gonna do 2 teaspoons of brown sugar. And we're going to add 1 teaspoon of olive oil. Again, super optional here. Helping me? Thank you for your help. Okay. We have all my basic ingredients in. Gonna give it a nice stir. Right? Do you think this bread is gonna come out good, or is it gonna be a total flop? I hope it comes out good. We need bread, and I really don't want to waste anything. So this is where we're at. I'm going to put 500 grams of flour in here. So the hydration of the starter, I never take that in consideration when I'm checking how I'm making my sourdough loaf, like the hydration of the sourdough loaf. But just because this one was super runny, I might have to put like maybe 20 or 30 grams more of flour. But we will see. I will start with just the 500 and then mix this in. So onto the topic of getting lazy with sourdough. I would love to get to a point where I'm not sitting here and doing 4 sets of like stretch and folds and coil folds. And I have been successful with that when I knead the dough, I don't know how you even say it, for a few minutes. So when I do that, then I might do just like 1 stretch and fold or whatever, and then I don't need anything else. So I don't have the arm strength right now to knead it. I'm just going to mix it and then keep doing the stretch and folds. But if you have a bread machine, or if you have the arm strength to knead the dough for about 5 to 10 minutes, then you should be able to skip the stretch and folds. Exactly. Okay. So I'm just looking for everything to be incorporated nicely here. Sometimes I'll go in with my hand, but if the spoon is doing the job, then I don't even need to go in with my hand. And it looks like in this case, everything is coming together nicely. I basically just look to make sure that there's no flour left unincorporated. This is how the dough looks like. It's a shaggy bowl, like a shaggy dough, not bowl. And we're going to let this sit. Oh, it's 9:14. I will have to put the baby to sleep. So this is going to sit likely for an hour and a half, even 2 hours. I really don't care, but as long as you leave it for about an hour and then come back and do stretch and fold, that should be good enough. Okay, we'll cover it up. I usually just do a plate and I will throw the towel on top too. And then it lives in the counter. Okay, so it's been an hour and a half since we mixed the dough. It's now 10:50 and I'm going to do the first set of stretch and folds. I'm just going to quickly wash and wet my hands. And just go around and keep pulling the dough up to stretch it and then fold it on top of itself. You're supposed to do about 4 to 8 sets of this. I usually, whenever I have the time, I like playing with my dough, so I keep doing it until it resists me, which this dough is doing right now. And I also try to get anything that's kind of stuck to the bowl, because I'm not going to go switch the bowl and make it look pretty. Because that's not realistic and that's not the type of video I'm doing here. Okay, goes back covered. So from now on, we're going to do stretch and folds every 20 to 30 minutes, depending on how much time I have and how the baby's gonna let me do them. But I usually do 2 sets of stretch and folds and 2 sets of coil folds, unless I have the will and the arm strength at the moment to kind of net the dough. But it's about 10:55 right now, and we'll come back at it 20 to 30 minutes to do the next set of stretch and folds. I might just skip all the way till the last coil fold, so the video doesn't get too boring for you. We're at the last set of stretch and folds, and I think the dough is looking really good, to be honest. I don't see any difference from whenever I do with active starter. It's feeling pretty elastic. It's smooth. Let me just put it here so it makes less noise for you guys. But yeah, it's feeling pretty good. Like, look how beautiful it looks. It's getting a few blisters. Yeah. So I am feeling confident that this is going to work just fine. And there you go. Then we'll be baking sourdough bread without watching our starter 24/7. And look how clean the bowl is already now, because the dough is attaching to itself, like the gluten is developing. What I've read is that when the gluten is nicely developed, it only wants to kind of stick together instead of attaching to other surfaces. That's why, like at the beginning, when you make the dough, it's like all shaggy sticking to your hands, and then after that it just looks so much better. So this is where we're at. This is the last coil fold. And I'm going to leave now the dough to bulk ferment. It's 12:30. We started this around 9 o'clock between the time that I let it rest. So I'm just going to cover it the same way as I was covering it before. We'll come back when it has doubled in size. It's about 6:30 in the afternoon. The dough has doubled in size, maybe a little bit more. I'm just going to pre-shape it. I had to wait after dinner, had swimming lessons with the baby, so let's see how easy it will come off from the bowl. Okay, so it's good. But going to the fact that we did this with a starter that had been dormant in the fridge for a month, and we didn't feed it, we didn't use the starter at peak. This is the whole purpose of this video. It took, and we started this process around 9:15ish. Now it's 6:30. The temperature in the house is about 22 degrees. So it took about 9 hours for my dough to rise and double in size, but at this point it looks pretty good. So I'm just going to pre-shape it, let it rest on the counter for a little bit, and then I'm going to shape it and put it in the fridge until tomorrow when we're ready to bake. I'm gonna put some tension here, but the dough is looking really nice. Look at those bubbles there. You're just basically folding it under itself and pulling it towards you. And the idea for this is to create some tension. So far, I don't notice any difference between baking with a starter that was at peak and this starter. It's actually looking really good. Let me just open that bubble. It's looking beautiful. Just like that. We'll let it rest on the counter. I'm just gonna cover it up with the same towel, and we're gonna let it rest here for 15 to 20 minutes and then shape it, give it its final shape. Okay, it's rested enough. I have floured the towel that I usually do, and we're just gonna like give it its final shape now and put it in there. More tension, and just make sure I don't follow like a proper technique. I just play with it because I like to, and this dough is just so much fun. I'm gonna take it the other way around, put it here, and do some light stitching. It's the next morning. I have been preheating the oven at 500 degrees, and I'm using the Dutch oven this time. We're going to get the bread out of the fridge. It's looking a little flat. Usually when I do this, even after I put the loaf in the fridge, it kind of keeps rising a little bit. This is looking a little flat. Again, this is an experiment, so we will see how well it's going to work or not work, and take it from there. I'm just gonna do just a simple score. And then just a very big one. Until now, everything has looked promising. Right now, I'm a little concerned just how flat it's looking, especially because it was a quite low hydration. It was only 70%, so there's no reason for it to fall this flat, but we shall see how this works out. So I'm just gonna do Dutch oven with a couple cubes of water. Cubes of ice, not water. I guess it is water, just frozen water. But there it goes. Don't mind my Dutch oven, but the time for the bread to be covered, oh my God, is done. So now I'm going to bake uncovered for a few minutes, and oh, it's looking really good. It's done baking. It's going to be really hard to wait to cut this bread. Like, it's just looking so good. But one of the things that I hate the most is cutting hot bread. I just feel like it just needs to stay longer so all that steam can still keep cooking it. But it's looking really beautiful, and we're going to wait. And the smell, I don't have to tell you about the smell. I am ready to cut the bread. It's around 11:30, so it's cooled off enough, and I just can't wait any longer. So we're going to cut and see the crumb inside and see how it tastes as well. I can never do those pretty crumb reveals. But this is how it's looking. It's looking really good. It's still a little warm, so we're gonna cut a slice and taste it. Amazing. We're going to enjoy it with some tea, some jam, and some butter outside because the weather is now so much warmer. We're going to conclude this video while we enjoy our bread and jam outdoors and bread and butter with our tea. I hope you really liked this video, and if you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to see any other experiments with sourdough, I'd be more than happy to make them. I really don't like wasting food, so hopefully it's not something too crazy that will make me waste a loaf of bread, but still leave it in the comments if you want to see some sort of shortcut, and I'll be more than happy to do it for you guys. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.